And as we mentioned at the beginning of the breakfast show, is that we're going to shed more light on yesterday's celebration of the Mother's Day, of course, and granting the ideal mothers and mothers of the martyrs special recognition by the head of state. And we have with us over the phone Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics, Ain Shams University. Good morning, Dr. Youmn.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. We have witnessed this month many celebrations concerning women, of course, Women's Day, Mother's Day, and so on. And we've been witnessing for years now special attention and special recognition by the state and by the head of state. How do you evaluate what have been achieved in trying to empower women in Egypt?
Actually, first of all, I would like to talk about the importance of empowering women in Egypt for the economy and for social life, generally speaking. I believe that the empowerment and the mainstreaming of women in economic, social, and political life may make a big difference for Egypt for this period in which we are trying to sustain our economic development and our economic
Dr. Youmn, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I would like, this is very important what you're talking about. What is the importance of empowering women financially and culturally and educationally? Can you explain the importance to the audience?
Actually, we have several phenomena when we try to achieve economic reform in Egypt, starting from 2014, and we started our economic reform in 2016 with the IMF. We try to enhance our resources and to exploit our resources efficiently. And part of this, or the most important part of this, is human resources. When we talk about human resources, we have to specify and position the role of women in Egypt. And the indicators may prove that still the participation of women economically is very weak compared to other countries. Like participation of women in economic life is only 22%, and it has decreased 4 years ago to 18% only. And when you talk about this, participation is quite minimal. And you can enhance economic reform and sustain economic reform if you increase this economic participation. We have a study by the World Bank mentioning that if Egypt will succeed to enhance the economic participation of women and this reach that of men, economic growth may increase by 32%. So instead of having economic growth prospect for the coming year at 6%, we can add 1.8% to this 6%, and this actually may make a big difference for our economic reform and give a very important momentum. From here,
actually,
it comes the importance of
it actually helps
women and enhancing their participation.
Yeah, Dr. Youmn, so what you're saying is that empowering women independently, helping them to be economically independent and having their own investment projects would really help the economy as a whole, not only the families.
Yes, and not only the economy, but actually a lot of phenomena that we are suffering from and may represent challenges for our economic reform, like population growth and like some social phenomena that are affecting seriously, our economic growth and economic development, like, what we can see from the situation of children in Egypt and, all social challenges that Egypt is witnessing and suffering from can be addressed if we address women properly. So from here it comes
Dr. Youmn,
Dr.
Youmn, before you move on with, I'd like to know from your own point of view, which is the most, you think the critical obstacle that if we work on fast now, this would help Egypt in every, you were mentioning now the problems, the social and cultural problems along with the economic ones, and you were saying that these obstacles could be tackled and could be addressed. Which is the most important obstacle or the critical obstacle you see right now?
Actually, there are several, like the population growth. I mentioned population growth in Egypt during the last years proved very high population growth that affects seriously our economic growth, because when you have a burden on the government to spend on education, on health services, as long as you are having this very high population growth. And actually, if you cannot address properly this huge number of people, nowadays we are 100 million. This is affecting seriously our potentialities for improving health quality of services, for health services, for education. And here it comes that if you address women, most studies, applied researchers prove that the economic empowerment of women may affect positively the population growth, since women, when they have an opportunity of jobs, they are thinking about the size of family. They are thinking about how to improve, the situation of the children. That they would like to see their children in the best position regarding education
and also, Dr. Youmn,
so they are going to keep a small family.
Yeah,
like
I think also.
The rich family.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Youmn. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's not only that she's going to think when she's working to improve her family style. I think having kids would hinder your business. If you have a business, you have to be, a woman, if you have like 4 kids, then you will consider if you have time for the business or have time for a project.
Yes.
So practically, I think that they will think like twice before thinking of having an extra kid.
Actually, I was about to explain that and you interrupted me, actually.
Sorry for that. So we're on the same page here. We're on the same page. So please, go on.
Okay. No, it's okay. So we are talking about the importance, and we have very important political support in Egypt nowadays. What had been declared yesterday in the ceremony of the Mother's Day, going quite well with what we are talking about. It means that we have very strong political support towards enhancing the role of women in Egypt, and towards not only that we would like to have a full participation of women in economic life, but in political life too. We have the largest participation of women in the parliament that arrives to more than 25%. This is for the first time. We nowadays we are going to have women in everywhere. We are addressing the challenges that may affect women, like, we know quite well that in social life we have to respect women, we have to address all ways that may prevent women from full participation. So if you have this holistic approach, another very important decisions that have been recommended by our president yesterday is to forbid completely the marriage, early age marriage for girls. This is very important, because when you have this early marriage, you are destroying the life of women in Egypt. And when you address these challenges properly, I believe that we can have a better life.
Dr. Youmn, do you think that the obstacles hindering women empowerment, such as early marriage, slipping from education, economic independence, could these obstacles be tackled or addressed each separately, or we need like an integrated national plan or a national project in which we integrate all aspects together, like the educational part and even the mass media would go in, and the drama and everything? What do you think?
Yes, I fully agree with you. You know, this should be integrated. This is a holistic, approach, because when you address women, you have to address all dimensions, like, empower them regarding education and health. This is building capabilities. This is human capital from one perspective. And you cannot, enhance the participation of women in economic life without building their capabilities. So you have to take care of human capital and building capabilities and addressing literacy of women, addressing, very good education. And then after that, when you do that properly, you are going to have a better performance regarding, more choices for women for economic participation and economic life. And what happened regarding, actually yesterday, another decision that was quite important is addressing gender gaps regarding financial services offered in Egypt. And this means that we have to study quite well what are the obstacles confronting women regarding access to finance and small and large businesses. Even we have nowadays women that are business women participation in economic life, but there are actually very few. So when we enlarge this number, when we have the concentration of women in microcredit only, in income generating, because women actually, because of their poverty and the phenomena of feminization of poverty, they are concentrated in micro enterprises.
And most of them are providing services which I think it's a bit difficult to trace like services unless you have a project or something. Dr. Youmn, do you think the COVID-19 crisis did it help the empowering of women in Egypt, or it added to the obstacles facing empowering women, especially in rural areas where online activities a bit rare? Very quickly, can you tell us, did it help or add to the obstacles?
Yes, actually, COVID-19 affected women seriously. Why? Because when you have gender gaps, you have problems for women for having opportunities of job, or in most countries of the world, women are very vulnerable.
Dr. Youmn, thank you so much. I'm very sorry. We'll have you another time and talk more on this interesting topic. Dr. Youmn Al-Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Ain Shams University. Thank you so much for being with us on The Breakfast Show, and thank you everybody for being with us today. Stay tuned with Nile TV International for more news and programs coming up.